Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Aspie Bridge. You may recognize my guest today. She has been one of my top supporters of this podcast, and I'm so honored to have her on today. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. As you know, for the last 4 weeks, we talked about the fact that Thomas Edison might have been considered autistic back in his time, but they gave him the label of addled. Now, his traits show almost 100% autism, but they didn't have the word autism, as you know, back when he was growing up, when he was a child. Marilyn, did they have autism when you were growing up?
No, ma'am.
No,
Mm-mm.
not even when I was growing up, which means that autism did not come to be known until almost 2000 for the boys and 2008 for the girls.
Mm,
So even I did not receive a infantile diagnosis of autism.
right.
And that's what makes us all late diagnosed autistic. And according to my other friends on YouTube, such as Paul Micallef and Orion Kelly in Australia, who are telling you about the traits of autism, as well as Samantha in the Netherlands and Sarah Hendricks in the UK and Temple Grandin here in the US and so many others. I learn every day about more and more late diagnosed autistic individuals. Autism is finally scratching the surface, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And so I want to be here among all the others to tell you about the traits of autism, but more importantly, the mission of the Aspie Bridge is not just to tell you the traits. You see a bridge behind me, and what that means is that I want to connect you back to society. I don't want you to stay ashamed and victimized in the neurodivergent forest, which is where I'm standing right now at the edge as your torchbearer. And I am Suzanne Plumley, if we have not met yet. Hopefully, this is not your first podcast, but if it is, I welcome you.
Mhm.
Marilyn, my top listening podcast viewer, welcomes you.
Thank
And
you.
at that, I'll go and let her tell you a little bit about herself and when she learned she was autistic and why she has found that the Ashby Bridge has helped her. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Oh, dear. Well, first of all, I am thankful that they have recognized that women have autism too. Um, being as old as I am, I'm going to be 76 soon. But the thing is, I'm thankful that I found out even as late as I am because it has helped me. And I know the future is going to be that much better for everybody else. So that's wonderful. Um, how I found out that I was autistic? Well, it was a story. Um, my husband was complaining to me all the time because he was always tapping or whistling or something, always making noises. And they could be quiet noises, but they were noises. And I'd say, would you stop? And he would stop one thing and he'd go on to another thing. And it was like, so as a result, he says, I think there's something wrong with you. And I said, "All right. Well, if that's what you think, I'll go and I'll explore." And the more I thought about it, I have two grandsons. One is biological, one is not, and both are on the autism spectrum. The older one has just graduated from engineering school at the University of Hartford, which I'm very proud of him for doing. It took him 6 years to do 4 years worth, but he completed it. He
Need
succeeded.
it, yes.
Yay. And the other one is, I think, going into or will be going into his sophomore year in high school. And he has found his niche in theater. He
Yeah.
loves to be on stage and he will learn parts like crazy just to be in the spotlight. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
That's
wrong with that
wonderful.
at all.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am so proud of both of those boys, and I thought to myself, my sensitivity of noise, wait a minute, that's not the only thing that I'm sensitive on. I am sensitive in bright lights. I am sensitive in crowds. I am sensitive when there's a lot going on in conversations and I can't follow it. Um, I did not recognize all those things. What really stood out to me was that when I look back on my life, I think to myself, well, I was in grade school and I couldn't read. I just, well, I could read. I could read out loud all day long. I learned phonics and I could read, but don't ask me what I read because I couldn't tell you.
Hmm.
There were words I could pronounce that I had no idea what they meant. And so when it came to comprehension, it was a big deal. And they had me in extra classes for that. And of course, if you can't read, you can't do math problems. And so once again, I was in special math. I went to summer school and I was pushed through in school and I graduated, I say, by mistake because I was pushed through. Uh, when I wanted to go to nursing school and I wanted to be a nurse like my mother and my aunt, and I tried the exam, I failed. I went to the director of nurses and said, "Where's my weakness?" And she said, "Reading comprehension." I says, "What do I do now? I graduated from high school. What do I do?" And she sent me to a private reading school. And it was an hour's drive to and from. I had to pay for it. Um, but I learned that a dictionary could be my best friend. If you don't know what a word means, look it up. And if you don't know what that word means, go to a thesaurus because they have another word that may help it click for you. And so now I use Google. That's what I
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that was my journey to finding out, and I went to mental health and they said, "I'm sorry, we can't tell you that you are autistic. We're not qualified." And then I went to my regular doctor and said, "I think I'm autistic." And he said, "No, I don't see that." Okay, well, um, do you know of somebody I could go to? No. And I saw that there was a place called psychology or something upstairs in the same building. And I went up there and I happened to know the guy and I said to him, "I think I'm autistic, but I need to be tested. Can you send me to somebody?" And he gave me a name. And from there I went. He was getting ready to retire, but he said he would take me. And I got the diagnosis that I needed. Now, why did I need it? Not for anybody but for me. I needed validation, is what I needed. I needed to know I wasn't stupid. I wasn't inferior. I just thought differently.
Hmm.
I just thought differently than others. I could pick up on things that others didn't, and I would miss things that others would. I didn't have any friends. I couldn't keep any friends. So it was a lonely life.
Yeah.
But yet, that loneliness in some ways helped me to become more creative. and more, um, I don't know, I was able to busy myself and find things that would make me happy doing it alone.
Yeah.
And that was my survival. That was my survival.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey. That's great.
It
I
it
mean,
was. It
you,
was.
knowing how to entertain ourselves is probably the trade-off for
Really.
having the challenges that we did, because I was the same way. I mean, when I did not receive the validation from family,
Hmm.
I did not entertain myself in my room. It wasn't until recently my mom said, well, you always spend time in your room. I'm like, I wasn't
And
I
I happen
wasn't
to
getting
like,
what I needed from you, so why not go and entertain myself?
and I like me.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So often people say to us, and I'm sure you've understood, you've received this too, you must just have a low self-esteem of yourself. It's like, actually, no, I don't. I'm more value than I than that I am have a low self-esteem. I'm just
Right.
sorry that people can't utilize my strengths more. They're
Right.
like, yeah, but I would get this a lot too. I would be like, yeah, but your outsides reflect your insides, not necessarily with the autistic individual.
Right. Right. And
Because,
we
yeah,
our low self-esteem only comes when we're comparing ourselves to others.
you bet. You bet. Or when someone else is comparing us,
Right, exactly, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
because that's, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. That's what I was coming up against with work.
Hmm.
Is I thought I was doing a great job. I was efficient, I was careful, I was going through everything. Let me grab a drink of water for a moment.
Okay, I couldn't hear you.
I thought was expected of me.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until I got back to where I need to check in that I was told I was not good enough.
Mm.
Well, when you live a whole life of doing your very best, and then someone says, but it's not as good as others, that's when our self esteem gets dropped.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not because of the exterior. So when people say to us, your insides reflect the outside world, and I would like to challenge that idea.
Mm.
I'd like to challenge that idea. That may be true with a neurotypical individual who might feel stuck, but I'm not going to say, and I bet no, Marilyn will say the same thing. I'm not going to say that I'm going to judge how they feel because I'm not them. But I also wanted to come the other way. I
Hmm.
don't want to be judged because they're
Right.
not me. They're
Exactly.
not neurodivergent.
Hmm.
Yes, the bridge is here to connect us, to share ideas, to
Hmm.
share gifts, to share things. At the very top of this bridge, we can connect.
Right.
And it's a lovely experience to connect with someone who meets our challenges and helps us and understands that we don't need to be fixed. Our problem needs to be fixed. All right, Marilyn,
I agree.
tell us, because you were my very first, can you help the audience understand the value of what you received from this bridge and one Jennifer Underwood?
Well, with Jennifer, I reached out to her because I was struggling, being as old as I am and having to fix meals for many, many, many years and stuff. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to cook. And It's like, I don't want to take the time. I don't know what to do. I can't think anymore. And so Jennifer gave me a lot of different ideas about different things that I could do. Well, I didn't tell her, and I certainly haven't told you either, but I have since passed the torch on to my husband and said, you do it. I'll do the dishes this time. So that's where we're at now, but I do jump in when I'm needed, or there's something he's not sure of, or he's tired of it. There's a difference in filling in and doing it all the time. So
Definitely.
that was the beginning for me. But you and I have built such a friendship and relationship that I've shared lots of things that I have done or not done. Um, and so, yeah, yeah. And the thing I guess I would want to say is don't think you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you can't do something because of your past or how you were seen or how you even saw yourself. Because there are times that you can be gifted, and that's how I would term it, the ability to do something that you thought was so far out of reach, and yet it was attainable. It may not have been done alone. It may have taken others to help me accomplish what I did, but it was something that I can take credit for as long as I remember who helped me along the way.
Exactly.
So,
Knowing that we can reach out for help and support is our
exactly.
greatest asset.
I could not have done it without multiple people. And so that's why I say I want to give credit to a lot of other people, because the truth of the matter is, I may have, because I'm going to tell you, I've written a book.
Mm. Yes.
But it took many people to help me. Um, I felt like I was driving to and from Connecticut to New York to see my daughter, because that's where I'm originally from, is Connecticut. And I would drive by this abandoned house, and I would drive by it on my way up, I'd drive by it on my way home. And this went on for probably a year and a half or so. And I always thought, that house is so big and it's got so many additions. That house has a story to tell. Now, what that story was, I had no clue, but I created that story. Now, I say I created it. There are things that are in the story. First of all, I want to say that it is a Christian romance, very easy to read. It's large print. It is on Amazon. It's not terribly expensive. And any age can read it. And when I say that, it's because there is no language in there that would be offensive. It is, even though it's a romance, there is nothing in there that would be considered inappropriate for a fifth grader to read. It's important to me, it was very important to me that it came across as an easy read, because again, I struggled in that area. So, anyway, I did the connection of the two states, and it's a wonderful story. And yeah,
I think that's great. Can you hold it up again so we can see it?
sure. Can you see it?
All right, let's see. Things that matter. There we go.
Things that matter. Um,
Wonderful.
and on the cover, which somebody helped me make, in the background is the picture of the actual house. This picture of the girl is not, that was just placed in there, but on the back it shows the full view of the house. And
Wow.
yeah, so that's fun. Um, but I also want to, as much as I say, I had somebody do that for me, I had somebody edit it for me, I had somebody type it out and put it on a UB.
USB, yeah, USB.
Thank you. USB thing so I could send it to the publisher. I had a lot of people help me, but I believe God was the one who kept my inspiration going. There was a break in time. It took me 10 years to complete the story, but it was because I had some trauma that took place within that period of that 10 years that had me in an emotional place that I could not write a love story. And so, therefore, I did take that break. But my husband encouraged me to keep writing. And when I finished it, I says, okay, I'm done. And he goes, now you need to get it published. I can't get it published. I had it in notebook upon notebook upon notebook. And so, anyway, it got done. It got done. Yeah.
Well, your
So,
journey in making it, yeah. I mean, that's part of the story, right?
right, right. Yep.
It's not about, and I asked you this question, among all the things that you've accomplished, which one makes you the most proud? Now, we're gonna get to that in a moment, but you also said the process of, I asked you about, was it the process or the completion? And I think this is where you talked more about creating the book, the process and the journey of
Mm-hmm,
creating it
mm-hmm.
and learning how to reach out for those people who could help you. That
That
was
was a big
huge.
step. Yes, that was huge because you also had to fear rejection. And we have certainly suffered a lot of rejection because, again, one of the things I used to think about myself was that I was stupid. And I am not stupid.
No.
I may have had some drawbacks in my process of learning because of being on the spectrum, but I was not stupid. I am not stupid. Um, I have a lot of life experiences, and that's what you draw from. That's what you draw from. So yeah, yeah, and asking for help was hard. It was hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
I am very proud of that book being published. I think that's wonderful.
yeah.
And I will be getting it myself so I can read it. I'm very curious to read about it. Plus, I
Exactly.
know
I'm
about the
excited.
Connecticut to New York truck,
Right,
so
right,
I can
exactly.
understand
Yes,
where
yes.
that came from. Now let's talk a little bit more. You had said to the point that you were the instrument from which God used to create that book. Tell us a little bit more about you. I think it goes back to your original question of what makes you proud. And you had said something
Right, right.
earlier when we were talking about raising your children to have a strong belief.
Yes. Um, I was raised by a father who used to take me to church all the time, and that was a routine thing. I really didn't, I can't say that I didn't benefit from the teachings that I had back when I was a child. Maybe, maybe not. But I did know the importance of God, and I did know that I wanted to have a relationship with God. That was so important to me.
Mhm.
Um, and no matter the struggles in my life, and again, I had multiple and some really very traumatic, but without going into those, to remain in the faith was imperative to me. Uh,
Mhm.
because what man can do to harm you, God has not done.
Mhm.
And that was probably the biggest influencer on me in raising my children with faith, knowing that man will fail, man, woman, child, whatever will fail, systems will fail you, whatever, but God is the constant. And so I raised them going to church. It wasn't a forced thing, it was an encouraged thing. Um, if they said no, I was disappointed. But the bottom line was it's your walk, it's your decision. And the blessing for me is that not only my children are living for God, but each one of their children are doing the same. And
Mhm.
that is what I'm passing on more than anything else is that when you go through hard times, and you will, there's no way around it, you will, that's a fact. And you don't have to be autistic, you don't have to be neurotypical, you can be anything. You're going to go through troubles, you're going to go through hard times, and that is my saving grace. That is my source of happiness, my source of joy, my source of strength, because I could not do it all alone.
Mm. Well, Marilyn, it shows. And it shows that you're not just a Sunday Christian either, which is what I get a little bit upset about is a
Yes.
Sunday Christian.
Yep.
Marilyn is not a Sunday Christian. I can talk to her on Friday and she's the same every day, loving, giving, and caring. But there are Sunday Christians out there who are what I call performative Christians. They
Yes.
go not for God, not for the Lord, not for anyone in the spiritual realm. They go to be seen. They
Mm,
go to because it looks good if they
right.
show up at church on Sundays.
Right.
And then Monday through Saturday, they're back to being
It
someone
doesn't
other
matter.
than who went to church on Sunday.
Right. 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 I,
And I
you know,
think, go ahead, Marilyn, then
I
I'll.
was, that's all right. I was just going to say, one of the things that you think of as Christian is okay, number one, you go to church. Number two, you pray. Number three, you read your Bible. Number four, for some, you tithe or you give your money. To me, those things are so not what it's all about. It's investing you and the heart that God has given you to others.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
giving your time. Money means nothing. It's just a number. That's my opinion. When my husband gets his social security and I go to write out the bills, they're just numbers. They're just numbers. It's not like I'm putting out money. Money is it has nothing. It means nothing. But time is what means everything. When somebody calls you and they say, I'm really struggling, and you hear them crying, and you say, no matter what's going on, I'll come. I'll come. Let's
Bingo. Yes.
let's have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, a glass of ice water, whatever. Let's talk. I need to come. I need to, if I need to hug you, I'll give you a hug. If you need to talk, I'll let you talk. Giving my time, and sometimes it's inconvenient. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might be doing something that you're really loving to do. But when somebody needs you, that's when you need to be available. So, yeah,
You are so right. And that is being the person of increase that I know you to be.
yeah,
And it just makes me a little upset when there are people who think that going to church
is enough.
is enough. And it's something to shame others if they don't go to church.
Right, too.
And I was sitting at a dinner table, a family dinner table, and my mother looks over at me and says, like, you go to church? I'm like, yes, I don't jump on an airplane and go to Colorado every weekend. Thank you very much. But I still go to church.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. It's like, but to
It's
shame
not the
someone
building.
else for how they believe in God and a higher power, if you don't call it God, or
Right,
whomever you
right.
think is helping you to breathe and helping your heart to beat,
Yep.
if you can believe in that higher power, whatever
Mhm.
name you give it,
Right.
and know that they have given you life for purpose. Now, Marilyn, I know this might be a tougher question, and if you need me to
That's all right. Yeah.
elaborate, what can we say to our listeners that are angry at God for being autistic?
Good one. Um, can you imagine if everybody was just like you? If, and I'm not saying you as in Suzanne, I'm saying in you as in anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Neurotypical. Okay. What if everybody was neurotypical and nobody could see outside the box? What if what you understand to be true, I see differently? And I can help you get a better understanding through my different way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
What if we all looked alike? What if we all had blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect teeth, the same body shape? There's no, you have, everybody would be the same. You couldn't even compare, nor could you see the beauty
Mm-hmm.
in the difference. There's a reason for the difference.
Yes, there is.
There's a reason for the difference. And sometimes I guess I'd have to say that you should be glad that you're autistic because you do see things differently. You do express differently. You are sensitive where sensitive needs to be paid attention to. So no matter what, God created you, in my opinion, to be exactly who you are for a purpose. You wouldn't be you if you were different. You couldn't contribute if you were different. Um, but we are different for a purpose. There's a
Yeah,
purpose. There's a
absolutely.
very definite purpose for us being the way we are. And so be mad? Well, what if neurotypical people were asked that same question? Are you sorry that you're neurotypical and not autistic? I mean, come on. The truth of the matter is, would you be any happier? I think everybody kind of likes who they are for the most part. Not everything they do, but who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because we live out who we are, and sometimes we don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't care. If you don't like me, move on. Well, us autistic people can say the same thing, but you know what? People move on without us inviting them to because they don't understand us. You know what? It's okay. It's really okay. You will
Yeah.
find those right people. They may not be a lot, it may be few in number, but they're special, and so are you.
Quality over quantity for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Quality over quantity. And I am so grateful for everybody who comes to the Aspie Bridge because they want to be here, not because they're forced to be here.
Right.
And isn't that special? I have all of my bridge builders and I have my
Yeah.
bridge buddies that want to get together and support
Yes.
those who are having a challenge socially, to be respected by other members of society that don't understand them. And then I also have chosen mothers who I want to start creating to help those younger women who feel like they just need that one strong connection in life with a mother figure because their mother had her own challenges. And
You,
this is something that both Marilyn and I know very well,
oh,
is the mother
too well.
wound challenge because they were wounded themselves. And I'll tell you, it takes me a moment every morning to get out of bed and say, but she had it just as hard as I did.
Different. Differently.
Yeah.
And and those that have hurt us in the past gave what they could. And so forgiveness is very important. Just as we need to forgive ourselves for when we fail. But going along those lines of partnering with somebody maybe younger than ourselves that really needs that support, I've recently befriended or have spent a lot of time with a woman who is probably 10 years my junior. And 10 years when you're my age is nothing. But um, she needed, she's an older woman also. And she needed that mother person
Mm-hmm.
to come along and be with her and support her and encourage her and help her see her qualities and her things. um I used a word with Suzanne one time, and I used the word cheerleader, but she pointed out that some cheerleaders are just those, you go for it, you go for it, and then they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the kind of cheerleader that I meant. I meant that I am an encourager. I want you to be able to see the good in you. I don't want you to miss out on the things that are so special about you, whoever you may be. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the age. It doesn't
No.
matter the age. We need women to come alongside women and encourage and support and love and listen, not just talk,
Mm-hmm.
listen. We're all hurting people and we all need somebody.
You are our new Nancy Edison, Marilyn. Just standing up because that's exactly what the Chosen Mother Circle is all about. Is
Mhm.
for women who realize that they too had suffered, but how can they make someone else's life feel better because
Exactly.
of their own personal experiences, their
Yes.
wisdom, and everything? And that's what a chosen mother is all about. And
Yes.
you, my dear, are a chosen mother because you have provided that for a younger woman who needed someone
Yeah.
in times of needing a safe place to land. But I know, knowing you, that you're going to be there to celebrate her wins too, when someone
Absolutely.
else may not be willing to do that. And those
Absolutely.
are the qualities that make a chosen woman, a chosen mother. Now, yes, we can have chosen fathers too. I know there are a lot of men out there who were not accepted by their fathers for being different, or a
Mhm.
lot of a couple of months ago, we met with Eco Edward Fish, and he was
Right.
talking about his challenges.
Mhm.
And I know that there are a number of men who could use chosen fathers to be role models for,
Mhm,
because
mhm,
this world is so full, and this is a great time and a great platform right now today to say, why are we competing anymore?
mhm.
Why are we letting competition determine who we are when the very fact is that we could be God's instruments to helping other people who are younger than us to
Mhm.
feel better about themselves?
Absolutely.
You
Yep.
know, we take so much pride in who we are. What about turning that around and being that for someone else?
Mm. Mhm. Having compassion.
Being there, as you said, encourager, empower, whatever title you want to take on.
Exactly.
Showing up at church on a Sunday does not make you what God had intended.
No.
Showing up for others with your heart,
Yeah.
your time, your wisdom, your experiences. Now
Mhm.
that's the gem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Marilyn, to our
Oh man.
conversation today?
Hmm. I don't know.
One question I did have
Yep.
is, well, actually, I have two. One
Okay.
is, if you were to think back on your life
Mhm.
and how you might have reacted in a particular event, what event would have said to you, man, there's something going on here? We didn't have the word autism at the time, as you and
Right.
I both know, but what might now knowing what you know about autism, is
Mhm.
there an event in your life that would have strongly said yes? I was autistic in that moment.
Well, it's funny. The one of the things that I have recognized is, and now that I know that I'm autistic, it's like totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Is when I was young, I didn't, I wanted to be asked maybe to be included, but, and it might have hurt my feelings if I wasn't. Say, for instance, you were playing softball and you were the last person chosen. That hurts. That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what if once you started playing, it was too much for you, and then it was like, oh, I can't do this. Maybe, just maybe, my difference helped in not being included in some of those noisy situations. Another thing that I also noticed was that when I got tired, I would go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to be the only thing that would give me energy or the ability to come back. So even though I was way past nap age, if I came home from school and I was exhausted, I'd put myself to bed. If I had a bunch of cousins over and they wanted to play, and it's like they're getting all excited. I mean, I had four cousins and I have a brother and a sister. If there was a lot of noise and confusion, oh please, I would sit at the table with my parents while they played cards. I had to be totally silent, couldn't say anything, but that was all right. I preferred that quiet. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I was tired, I would disappear. I would just disappear. Where did Marilyn go? Where did Marilyn go?
Mm-hmm.
She went to bed. She put herself to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today, if I feel like a nap, I don't care. I go lay
Take.
down. I go lay down because that is how I have learned to recharge. Or I can't think of the correct terminology for um, settling my nerves and calming down and sometimes even when you get into a
Re-regulating.
yeah, that's probably a better word. But even in a conversation, being able to say, wait a minute, and I'm feeling anxiety coming up and feeling like you're not being heard or you're not being understood. I used to spend lots and lots and lots of words repeating the same thing in a different way because nobody's understanding me. Why aren't you understanding me? And I would have to separate myself again and
Mm-hmm.
rethink. Sometimes write out and scratch out all the unnecessary words. What is your point? Because honestly, I didn't know how to do it. So, removing myself from an emotional charged situation, very often I need that step away. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. There are two times that I can look back at that make me say, "Oh my gosh, that was just so autistic of me at that time." And one was I would listen to the same song on the record. Yeah, a record
Yep.
5 and 6 times to get the lyric, to
Oh yeah.
understand the lyrics. I would put the same song on and on and on over and over and over again. And I'm like, wow, that was so autistic. Another time is what I call select mutism. Well, I don't call it, that's an actual term,
Right,
where
right.
I can communicate pretty well, I think. To
Mm-hmm.
be on a podcast and not be
Sure.
reading a
Absolutely.
script,
Yeah.
I can communicate. But if someone has wronged me because they don't understand me, rather than fighting it out, and this could be a trauma related situation as well,
Yes.
rather than fighting it out, that's when I could not hold eye contact. And I'll go into a doctor's office now and they're like, "You're holding eye contact with me. You can't be autistic. You're
Mm,
communicating. You can't be autistic." I'm like, but in a quiet, non-threatening environment,
exactly.
we
Non-threatening.
can
Hmm.
converse pretty
Yes.
well, in fact.
Yep.
But if you get us mad or you challenge our abilities or you challenge what you think we should be able to do, which is called ableism, if you
Mhm.
challenge what you think we should be able to do and we can't, and when we try and tell you we can't, and you say, but you can, we will go into the silent mode because we don't fight back.
I call that my shutdown.
Yes.
My shutdown.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
you're not going to like it if I don't shut down
Right.
because I can become very explosive.
I
And then I
can't
can
do.
become hurtful and that's not my heart's desire.
No.
So, yeah, it's protection for you.
Right? Right? That is absolute protection for the other person. When we go selective, we go into selective mutism. Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, you and I love to write, Marilyn. But
Yes.
what other gift do you think you keep giving to the world that you don't even have to think twice about? It just comes naturally. What is your true gift?
Uh, it's sharing time. It's sharing time. I really believe that that's my gift. I don't like leadership. I can step into that if forced to, but I'm not necessarily going to do it well either. I may come off with an attitude of not necessarily superiority, but if you're not going to take charge, then I'm going to do it my way. And because it's the only way I know how.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line of it. Um, but I lost my train of thought. What was I?
You all about giving time.
Oh yeah, giving time. Serving. I would say that my gifting is serving. serving others, doing for others. Again, I don't think in money aspects, I don't think in physical giving, but it's always time. I definitely feel that that has been my gifting. Um, and compassion. I have leaned in many times, job wise, even in service of working with the handicapped, working with the elderly. It's everybody. There's nobody that is not worthy of my time and my presence. Nobody. And to listen to older people's stories, and even if they don't make sense, it doesn't matter. If you don't recognize me, it doesn't matter. If it is foolishness to others, to me, it doesn't matter. You
Mhm.
matter. You matter. So I guess that would be probably my biggest.
If that's what it sounds like to me, the gift of serving time for others. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
For me, I find that I work, go on to other jobs when I notice that there's an ineffective system
Mm-hmm.
and I want to fix the system. And
Mm-hmm.
those who are open to suggestions on
Right,
how to fix a system to make it run better, run smarter, is, I think, my gift of helping others create a better system for all,
right,
whether it be through creation of tools or creation of a process or something. And I find that often I have to move on to a new job if I'm exhausted because I'm running someone else's system that doesn't work well.
right, right, right.
So
They
I
have to
kind of
be,
have this invention
yeah, they
mind.
have to be open to receive that information, because there are too many in this world that will continue with the same process because they don't have the eyesight or vision for something different. And even though it's not working, they keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. That's the way my mind works. And I would love to help fix systems, but what can you do?
everybody has to be a receiver to appreciate the giver.
Exactly. Is there
That
anything you'd love to add as we finish up here today, Marilyn?
I cannot think of anything except for keep your heart open no matter what. Don't ever, ever give up. Don't give up. Know who you are. Believe in yourself, even when that's hard. And sometimes it is.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes, sometimes it is. But press on, my friend, press on.
That's right. Oh, Marilyn, what a beautiful podcast conversation we had today.
I am so happy.
Yay.
Who
So
would have thunk
next
it?
month, oh, go ahead.
I just said, who would have thunk it?
Yeah, right.
Not good English, but yeah.
That's right. Next month, I'm going to be exploring some new topics on helping people in the environment, in their workplace.
Mm,
Now, if you'd like to be a neurodivergent expert here, because I do find that there are many individuals who would love to help us with the neurotypical ways of becoming a success. But I don't find that those plans always work for our neurodivergent brains. So
mhm.
if you are a neurodivergent success story, I would love to interview you for the month of August. So I would love you to come to the Aspie Bridge Facebook group page and let it be known that you'd love to be an expert for the month of August. I'd love to have you. And for now, I'd love to say thank you for coming to the Aspie Bridge. Thank you to Marilyn for being my Aspie guest of the week. And
Thank you.
we will talk next week.
That was fun.